Good evening, everyone. I am Augustine Rashid-Noah, currently enrolled in the PN Evening Program at Fortis College, Columbus, Ohio. I am here tonight to talk about the saying, as the twig is bent, so it grows. Before we start, let's look at the history of this saying. This saying, as the twig is bent, so it grows, could be traced back to the 17th and 18th century, when idioms were part of our everyday conversation. Though this quote could be further traced back to renowned poet and educationist Alexander Pope when he said in 1734, "This education forms the common mind, as the twig is bent, the tree is inclined." It is, however, believed that other variations of this phrase existed way before him. In the Republic, Plato writes, "And the first step, as you know, is always what matters most, particularly when we are dealing with those who are young and tender, because that is the time when they are easily molded and any impression we choose to make leaves a permanent mark." Most idioms did not survive the change in our language and culture over the years, but the persistence of these phrases from one generation to the other underlines the importance of this saying. Now let's look at the meaning of this saying, what it is about. The essence of this saying is simply for parents to shape the behavior of a child, particularly when they are young, because that is the time when the character of the future adult is formed. Proverbs 26 verse 22 says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." This verse clearly highlights how important, in biblical terms as well, for kids to be properly groomed to bear the responsibilities of the future. Now, let's look at this saying in terms of development. Let's try to apply this saying to developmental terms. Though this saying is not directly applicable to the work of Piaget, but aspects of his work could be fused with the nature-nurture theory and development to have a clear or near clear application of this theory to development. In Piaget's cognitive theory of development, he proved that children indeed form thoughts and intellectual capacity in their early years to explore and understand the world. Such intellects could be nurtured by parents to properly ingrain and shape their moral intellect as they grow up in society. Thus, how a child turns out could be credited to their early intellect and nurturing of their parents or guardians by upholding the moral standards in society they grow up in. Now, let's apply this saying to a famous living person and see what we have. I mean, if it is really worth it. This saying could be applied to a famous living person by focusing on Bethany Hamilton. Now, Bethany Hamilton is a surfer, an actor, and a writer. At a young age, she was educated by her parents at home because she wanted to become a surfer. She had ambition. Bethany didn't have any surfing abilities. I mean, she lacked the talent, but she was very, very interested in surfing. So her parents encouraged her. So through training and support from her parents, she was able to eventually compete and win a surfing competition, which opened the way for her to become a writer and an actor, fulfilling her dreams. Bethany Hamilton is now 24 years old and in her early adulthood, married, and has a very successful career. Like Bethany, John Watson believed that humans are not born with innate abilities, but how they turn out depends on how they were trained. In his published work in 1925, he writes, "Give me a dozen healthy infants well formed and in my own specified world to bring them up in, and I'll guarantee to take anyone at random and train him to become any type of specialist. I might select a doctor, lawyer, artist, merchant, chief, and yes, even beggarman and thief, regardless of his talents, penchants, tendencies, abilities, vocations, and race of his ancestors." So he believed that you don't have to have a talent, but in essence, if you are trained, you realize your dreams of what you want to become. Therefore, how Bethany Hamilton eventually turned out would be paralleled to the saying, "As the twig is bent, so it grows." I thank you all for listening, and God bless you.